Emily Johnson spoke about the defendant using his inner circle to manipulate women that for a while he watched, how his bodyguards kind of played, or bodyguards as well as employees kind of played a role into this alleged RICO conspiracy as well too. And
What?
she made it a point to say this case is not about a
Like,
celebrity's
why make a whole bunch
private
of
sex
money
preferences, because that
and
was
then
something
just
that the
mess
defense
it up?
definitely
Like,
kind of
why
chalked it
do
up to
that?
being just, that he lived an alternative lifestyle, that type of sort. And we'll talk about
An
that more in a
alternative
second.
lifestyle. What's that supposed to mean? People, they hating on him. Did they say they hating on him because he's living an alternative lifestyle? Is that what they just said? Well, hold on. I need to hear this shit again, bro. I don't think nobody care about that, dog. Ain't nobody care about it. I think everybody care about, blowing up the car, like bringing your gun and a bodyguard to somebody's house because you jealous. Like what? What, bro? Come on now. Hold on.
And she made it a point to say this case is not about a celebrity's private sex preferences, because that was something that the defense definitely kind of chalked it up to being just, that he lived an alternative lifestyle, that type of sort. And we'll talk about that more in a second. While there has been a lot of reports about victim 3 and where her whereabouts are or anything like that, the defense didn't talk about alleged victim number 3. Instead, they kept it pretty short.
So the defense pretty much walked up there and said, did he do it? No. This man simply loves to live an alternative lifestyle. The baby, I did hear about the baby oil. That shit have been joking around about. But the baby oil is for all the other things this man loved to enjoy. It's not for what the world is trying to chalk it up to be. I was like, I don't know, buddy. I don't think anybody care about any of that, dog. We care about all the illegal things that you were doing, brother. We care about all that. We don't care about who you were sleeping with. Well, I mean, we do care who you sleeping with because we care about how, but we don't care which way you swing. We care about what you doing, man. Cause I already know you's wilding out talking about blowing. I still am amazed you blew up Kid Cudi's car, bro. Like, what? That's what they saying in the chat. They said that old man here blew up the car of Kid Cudi. Like, I think that shit's crazy, brother. And if you didn't do it, brother, why are they saying you did this, dog? Why are they saying you did it? I need to know what's going on here, man. I need to know. Cause what I'm hearing, these rumors here, man. These words I'm seeing in chat, brother, and the fact that you've been in jail with old Bankman Freed, whatever his name is, FTX boy, and yeah, I don't know, man. Like
to the point. They talked about Cassie. They talked about
bad boy
Jane,
for life, for real, dog.
The other alleged victim. In this case,
hey, hold on. He what was it? Bad Boy Records. This bad boy now has a record, yo. Officially.
Government was talking about, the freak offs being also named Wild King Night, something that we had also known.
Are they recording him in the back?
Simply as hotel nights as well too. Allegations of flying escorts across state lines, out of the country, into the country, that type of thing. That Diddy had demands to for the staff to set up his rooms in advance, lighting, lube,
what?
For escorts, drugs for both Diddy and the women that were participating in these types of events. Women had to dress in lingerie, had to wear white nails, tall heels, something that Cassie had pointed out in her civil lawsuit that was later settled. Talking about the drug use.
Man.
Then they went into kind of, the allegations.
Yeah, I wish this was open so we could hear what exactly they're talking about.
The defendant had met Cassie. They had a 17-year age difference. Cassie was initially given a 10-album deal, and obviously that never happened as far as putting out a whole bunch of different albums and that type of sort. And so these were types of things that we had already known about. I think some of the more interesting points also go to Jane, as far as the other alleged victim. She was a single mom. She met Diddy around 2020 when Diddy was single, when Jane was single, but Diddy was seeing other people. Diddy introduced Jane to the freak offs, and she had tried one just to kind of make him happy, and then just kind of kept going into this repetitive cycle of doing these freak offs, wild hotel nights, that type of sort, just to kind of appease him. That Jane
Oh
didn't want to
my
do these freak
goodness.
offs, and that she had tried at even one point to hire men on her own that worked in the porn industry so she could pick the men. Diddy made her these escorts not wear condoms when they, allegedly participated
Oh,
in these types of
brother.
activities. So these were just kind of the big things that were pointed out as far as the government. And Jesse, do you want me to go into the defense? Because the defense was pretty interesting as well, too.
Before you go into the defense, as I was reading about the reporting today, it was the first confirmation that Cassandra Ventura is victim one in this case. We always guessed it. We always surmised it. Now we have a definitive answer. And by the way, I think it was either the prosecution or the defense who mentioned that she's going to probably testify this week as we wonder who the first
she need to
witnesses
go
are
ahead
going
and
to
testify.
be. And also,
We need this whole case opened up. We need cameras
Sean
in there.
Combs' personal assistant.
Yep.
That is maybe going to provide some important testimony in this case. Now, before we go to the defense, real quick, as though you're looking at all these people that are behind you right now, Elizabeth, are these all reporters? Are these all fans? Are these all people who are
probably a little bit of
supporting
both.
Sean Combs?
They got people in here
Sean Combs? Are these just
who are
interested
team
spectators? I'm
team
trying to get a
him,
sense
people
of
who
the
aren't.
people that are walking behind you right now.
Yeah, so obviously I was trying not to pay attention so much because it's really so many people, but it's really just kind of a common mix. It's a lot of people who are here with the media. You have field producers, you have social media producers, and pretty much every outlet across the country is here right now inside that courtroom. I would say there's too many supporters beyond that one guy just kind of yelling, and he had been kind of saying some pretty vile things to us as reporters. So, we're trying too much not to pay attention to him as much as possible. As far as the family goes, right before we did this hit, we saw the family kind of get into a sprint.
You wonder where young Miami belongs in this story. I wonder if she's Jane Doe. Huh. Well, they did say they think Cassie is, was it victim number one or person number one? And then there is a Jane. So if there is multiple people, then I guess she could be, since, like, man, that is crazy. Crazy. Oh, man.
Sprinter van and kind of drive off, maybe to get something to eat, maybe to decompress. Because, think about it, Jesse, his children were inside that courtroom, especially his daughters were inside that courtroom, hearing about their father, booking escorts and allegedly beating women and that type of sort. So maybe it was just the time that all the family members just had to get out of here, get away from this media circus. But for the most part, it's a good mix of both media and just the general public who are just genuinely curious.
So, Elizabeth, I know you have to jump back into that courtroom because they're going to start up in about 15 minutes. Real quick, if you could summarize the defense's opening statement, some highlights there.
Yeah, the defense's opening statements were pretty, we were kind of expecting them. They were going to have to admit that Diddy had been physically violent towards women in the past. They were going to have to admit that Diddy had this type of temper, that, he participated in taking these types of drugs, and that his temper was especially bad whenever he was on drugs and alcohol. There was a point in the openings where Diddy stood up when Tenny Garagos was introducing him to the jury. For the most part, even throughout opening statements, he kind of sat there calmly. He looked at the jurors. He looked at Tenny Garagos, who again provided the opening statements on the defense's behalf. The defense was kind of harping on the fact that the government has no place in his bedroom, something that we had talked about many of times, just how they're kind of paying.
Okay. So they're trying to argue. So they admitted that he did all this abuse and drug use and this, that, and the other with them, but they're trying to say that they're only coming after him because of his sex life. Is that what they're really trying to argue? That, like, he didn't do anything illegal. He's just, he's just, I hope he exposes all the pedos. Hey, they need to let him know. They need to let it. He need to open up the. This is gonna be a Pandora's box for sure. Just cause like they what was it? They were supposed to release the Epstein files. They never did that.